We've had a lot of phones from Samsung, Google, and Motorola on the channel as of late. So how about a Doogee? Yeah, you heard me right. It's the Doogee DK10 rugged smartphone. I've reviewed quite a few rugged smartphones over the last couple of years, probably more than any human should. But this one's interesting because usually when you get a rugged device, it has an outsized battery, so like 15,000 milliamp hours plus battery. And with the rugged build, it results in a weight that makes it a little unpocketable. We're talking well over a pound usually for these rugged smartphones. Well, the Doogee DK10 takes a slightly different track there with the build. So it still has all the certifications and things that you'd expect in a rugged device. You still have IP68, you still have IP69K, you still have military drop test standard, all the rest of it that you'd expect on a rugged device. But it only has a 5,100 milliamp hour battery. So while you don't get like that week of battery life that you get on some of these other rugged phones, it also doesn't weigh a pound. It's heavier than, like, say, your S24 Ultra at 304 grams, but it's not, not unreasonable. You can actually carry this around. It's only 12.7 millimeters thick, so it's not that hefty on that, or it's not that thick there either. So in the hand, it actually feels somewhat normal. It also gives you a nice large 6.67-inch AMOLED display, refreshing at 120 hertz. So you see the big camera hump on the back. We'll talk about that as well. But you could just kind of look around. It's like kind of a high gloss here, but you get the metal. It's like a Kevlar-like finish on the back here. It also comes in emerald green. Pricing's all over the board. If you're okay with AliExpress, you can pick one up for like $360. Amazon's going to run you just over $500, and I think off their site's going to be a little bit more than that. So pricing is all over the map, but that's okay. There's certain things to be had here. I could see a definite case for this at $360, and even kind of like a borderline case at $500 if you need something like this, if you need just that rugged design on a phone, but you want to carry something around that you can actually carry, will fit in your pocket and won't weigh down your pants. You need suspenders or like a backpack to carry some of those other devices. So we talked about the build. It definitely plays the part. Yes, it's a little bit shy on weight, but it certainly doesn't lose any of those credentials. I dropped this from, I think, like 5 feet the other day, and not a single problem. And include, something that you usually don't get on these rugged devices as well, Gorilla Glass Victus on the front. So you're going to notice some premium features sprinkled throughout this. We talked about the display, and it's a gorgeous one. AMOLED, 120 hertz, really nice, good saturation, decent brightness. I had really no problems viewing this outdoors, so that's something you usually don't get on a rugged device. You usually get these either drab LCDs, or if they have an OLED, they're kind of washed out, or whatever it happens to be. But this is a really nice one, just nice and colorful, and pops off the display. The other thing that's an upgrade for the DK10 is it's running a Dimensity 8020. Now, not the most powerful chipset in the world. However, it's a major upgrade from the Helio G99 that seems to power every one of these devices, whether it's a mid-range phone, whether it's a rugged phone, whatever. If I get a device from overseas, it almost always has a G99 in it for the last 18 months or so. And while I have no problem with the G99, pulls its weight for sure, the 8020, the Dimensity, is a noticeable step up in quality and performance and snappiness. Gaming is better. I just really noticed how fast it is back and forth. Is really snappy. And you pair that with the 12 gigs of RAM that Doogee put in this thing, and you really have a capable performer. So if you're going to charge that price, you're going to charge a big boy price tag, $500+, you got to come with something. So you can't just show up with just the rugged build and say, hey, give me $500. So I appreciate that they were able to put kind of decent performance into this phone, because that's really definitely needed at this price range. So you get the display, you get the performance, you're starting to build a little bit of a resume here. Speakers are quite nice as well, stereo speakers. You get a bit of a bezel here because you're talking about a rugged device, but stereo speakers sound good. They don't blow out at higher volume, so you have that. Camera I want to talk about, because camera's an interesting one. I'm going to throw up some shots. It's a Samsung sensor, and it actually is kind of large. It's like 1/1.3 inches or something like that. So it's a larger sensor, so the data's there. Now, you're not going to get the computational photography that you get with other software packages, okay? So understand that that's like half the magic. It's not just what the sensor size is, or what the camera and the lens could pull in light-wise. It's also what happens on the back end. So that being said, I think it produces some decent images. In good lighting, you're going to get a decent image. It has the night vision. The camera, it's a good 50 megapixel sensor on the main lens. Really had no problems with the saturation, the color, stuff like that. Does have a tendency to blow stuff out in really, really bright lighting, but that's something you're going to expect at this price range from everything except the Pixel 8a. Here's the thing that I actually like about it. You're noticing a bunch of these sensors on the back, right? And unlike a lot of the other brands, when they throw in a macro sensor, it's 2 megapixels, it's 5 megapixels, it's downright sad, and it's a disgusting drop-off in quality from the main sensor. This one, not really the case here. This is actually one of the few usable macro lenses that I've used in quite a while. I'll throw up the shot here of the macro lens. It's nice, and it's 50 megapixels as well. So you're not getting that noticeable drop-off in color and sharpness and contrast and all the rest of it that you usually get with a macro. So if you're going to include, shout out to all the manufacturers out there. If you're going to include one of those macro lenses, make it usable or keep it home. So I'm glad that, Doogie put one out there that's actually quite usable. Now, here's the downsides, okay? And it's a downside for a lot of these brands that you're talking about from overseas. Number one is usability. T-Mobile, MVNOs off of T-Mobile, you're going to be okay. I get 5G, no problems, whatever with this phone. Has Wi-Fi 6 also, by the way. Verizon, with an activated SIM, you should be okay, but then again, you're taking your chances. And AT&T, of course, will come find you at home and whatever and take your SIM away. So AT&T is out. Any of the MVNOs for AT&T are out. Verizon's a maybe, and T-Mobile, you'll be just fine. So that's something to keep in mind. Software is what it is. It's Android 13, okay, out of the box. It's running an April 2024 security patch, but that's literally because the phone just came out. So if it weren't software updates, I don't know, maybe. That's the thing that's the big holdback with a lot of these devices now. I wish they'd give us just kind of, give us the old school support and name only. Give us the old year and 2 years of security updates or something like that Nokia used to give us. Just something on paper to placate us and make us feel a little bit better about buying these phones. So, the software is clean, really no issues. You're relatively stock, as you can see here. The very Material U-esque notification shades, a relatively stock version of Android. But if you're looking for the latest and greatest, you're looking for feature drops, you're looking for that monthly security update every first Monday of the month, you're going to be waiting a while. Battery and charging, 5,100 milliamp hours. We talked about that. Not super impressive battery life. Over 6 hours of screen on time, really no issue. Here's the impressive part. 120 watt fast charging, charger in the box, 50 watt wireless fast charging. So it literally pumps up from 0 to 100% in 16 minutes or something like that. I was just looking to top it off one day, threw it on the charger. It was at 70%. I threw it on the charger, and within 5 minutes we were done. So it was so much so that I thought, maybe I saw that the LED notification LED as well. I thought maybe something was wrong or it didn't, whatever. But no, it charged. It was just done. So there's lots of things to like here. I like the fact that they were able to kind of civilize it, domesticate one of these rugged devices. But you're going to have to live with the software. But that's what a lot of these overseas rugged devices anyway. So if you're in the market for one, a rugged device you can actually carry in your pocket, the DK10 should be worth your look, or at least on the list of phones that you're looking at, especially if you can get sub $500. Decent performance, lots of RAM, micro SD card slot, 512 base storage on this. So there's a lot to like here for $500. I just wish they'd come up to speed a little bit on the software updates. If you've made it this far, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.